the common people.
Estamos viviendo estas experiencias
Because we are experiencing
y
these
sabemos que esto es real.
things, and we know that this is real.
Y no se puede tapar el sol con un dedo.
And we cannot cover up the sun with our finger.
Estos son los rostros recreados de Antarel e Ivica.
These are the recreated faces of Antarel and Ivica.
Sostienen provenir de una civilización avanzada de Alpha Centauri.
They say that they come from an advanced civilization named Alpha Centauri.
Es uno de tantos grupos actuando en nuestra realidad.
They are one of many different groups that are acting on our reality.
En el caso de nuestra experiencia en Perú,
In the case of our personal experience in Peru,
como parte de un profundo y maravilloso entrenamiento,
it was almost like part of a marvelous training.
nos sugirieron visitar ciertos lugares especiales del país.
They suggested that we visit specific places in our country.
Al principio pensamos que era para tener contacto con ellos en las montañas,
And at first we thought it was to have personal contact with them in the mountains.
porque ellos solían aparecer en las montañas.
Because for one reason they seem to always want to appear around mountains.
Por eso los pastores y campesinos de estas montañas
Therefore, the local people that live in these mountains
les llamaban apunians o apunianos,
would call them Apunians or Apunianos.
de la palabra quechua apu, que significa montaña.
And this comes from the Quechua language, which you say Apu means mountain. So mountain is Apu in the Quechua language.
Sin embargo, en estos viajes y expediciones,
However, when we went to these expeditions and these trips,
a los lugares sagrados, a lo largo de estos 30 años de investigación y divulgación que llevo en el camino,
so along these last 30 years of research and sharing my experience that I have lived,
hemos desarrollado experiencias de campo en diferentes puntos del mundo.
what we have done is develop field work in different parts of the world to go and research.
Donde hemos intentado el contacto con estos seres
Where we, at these specific places, we have intended contact with these beings
a través del poder de la intención,
through the power of intention,
en contactos telepáticos concertados con estos seres.
telepathic contact that we're shared with these beings.
Y nos hemos reunido con cientos de personas en estos lugares de contacto en el mundo.
And we have actually gathered with hundreds of people at these specific places in the world.
Como en esta imagen que están viendo en el desierto de Atacama en Chile,
Such as this image that you are seeing now in the Atacama Desert in Chile,
o esta imagen en el Cerro Uritorco en la Argentina,
or this image at the Uritorco mountain base in Argentina.
Sé que aquí en Estados Unidos se habla mucho de los encuentros cercanos del quinto tipo.
I know that here in the U.S. we talk a lot about the encounters of the fifth kind.
Un trabajo maravilloso que ha hecho el amigo Steven Greer.
It's a wonderful job that our friend Stephen Greer has completed and put forth.
Pero quiero comentarles dos cosas.
But I want to comment on two things.
En América Latina
In Latin America,
venimos viviendo este protocolo de contacto
we have been exercising and living these protocols of contact
hace más de medio siglo.
more than half a century.
Y el término encuentro cercano del quinto tipo
And the term encounters of the fifth kind
fue acuñado o inventado por el ufólogo argentino Fabio Serpa
was actually coined by the famous Argentinian ufologist Fabio Serpa.
Lo propuso al doctor Hynek en el Congreso de Acapulco de 1977.
In a conference in Acapulco in 1977, Fabio Serpa actually suggested this term to
Dr. Hynek.
Dr. Hynek.
Lo que les quiero decir que es maravilloso
What I want to tell you that is marvelous,
que grupos de contacto en Estados Unidos,
that contact groups in the U.S.,
desconociendo todo esto,
not really knowing any of this,
hayan llegado a las mismas conclusiones
reached the same conclusions
de lo que nosotros ya estábamos experimentando en América Latina.
that what we in Latin America were already experiencing.
Permítanme mostrarles algunas imágenes
Let me show you a few images
de algunos fenómenos ovni que hemos podido capturar.
of a few UFO phenomena that we have been able to capture.
Ninguno de estos fenómenos son producto de un skywatching,
Okay, and none of these images are a product of a sky watch,
sino de contactos programados.
but actually pre-programmed contacts.
Todos estos objetos o fenómenos
All of this phenomena that you will see
fueron captados el día y la hora exactos
were captured on the day and the specific time
en que Antarel y los extraterrestres nos habían transmitido.
that Antarel and the other ETs had mentally communicated to us.
Yo tengo entendido que tú puedes hacer encuentros programados, o sea, tú puedes llamar, por ejemplo, a un grupo de periodistas y decirle...
Esta es una participación en un programa chileno muy conocido que se llama Mentiras Verdaderas.
This is just a presentation that I did in a very famous Chilean show called True Lies.
Aparecíamos en shows de televisión anunciando los avistamientos y a qué periodistas o investigadores íbamos a invitar.
So what we would do is that we would come on shows like this and we would announce that we were going to have contact and invite researchers to come with us.
Para que quede un registro de que estuvimos en los medios de comunicación,
So that it becomes registered that we announced it to the communication methods,
anunciando que iba a ocurrir un fenómeno de acuerdo al contacto programado con estos seres.
announcing beforehand that we were going to have a contact with these beings.
Y estas experiencias no solo las hemos desarrollado en América Latina,
And we've done experiences like this, not just in Latin America,
sino que también las vivimos aquí en los Estados Unidos.
but we've been able to do this also in the U.S.
Y las hemos difundido ampliamente en distintos medios de comunicación en todo el mundo.
And we have been able to share these experiences throughout a variety of communication methods all over the world.
Uno de los primeros lugares que elegimos como escenario de contacto en Estados Unidos
So one of the first places that we chose to have this type of experience in the U.S.
fue en Monte Shasta.
was in Mount Shasta.
Allí invitamos al doctor Michael Sala,
There we invited Dr. Michael Sala,
un investigador de la exopolítica,
an exopologist,
que dio testimonio del contacto que tuvo con nosotros en el año 2013,
and he actually was able to give testimony about the experience that he had there with us in 2013.
pero en el 2014,
But in 2014,
mi hoy amiga Paola Harris,
my friend today, Paola Harris,
una de las más grandes investigadoras OVNI de todos los tiempos,
one of the most amazing ufologists and researchers of all time,
fue más allá del avistamiento OVNI.
went farther than just a sighting of a UFO.
Estas imágenes son parte de nuestra investigación que hemos hecho en Shasta.
So these images are part of our investigations that we carry out in Shasta.
Paola Harris no solo participó de avistamientos programados en Shasta en 2014 y 2015,
So Paola not only participated in from 2014 to 2015,
sino también de un contacto físico con el propio Antarel.
but actually experienced her own personal contact with Antarel physically.
Ahí están viendo un objeto de plasma volando a la altura de los pinos.
Here you can see some type of object made out of plasma that is sort of flying over the pines.
Estos objetos han aparecido a la hora exacta, como explicaba.
And these objects have appeared at a very specific time.
No son drones,
They are not drones.
no son satélites,
They're not satellites.
tampoco se trata de algún fenómeno conocido,
It's just not a phenomena that is known to us
porque aparecían a la hora exacta e interactuaban con los testigos.
because they would appear at a very specific time and they would interact with the group, with our group.
Y fue en una de estas experiencias,
And it was in one of these experiences
en el bosque de Mount Shasta que vieron en las
in
imágenes,
the forests of Mount Shasta that you saw,
en donde Antarel,
where Antarel,
el gigante extraterrestre,
this giant ET,
se presentó ante Paola Harris.
presented himself to Paola Harris.
Estos son otros materiales que hemos conseguido,
This is other material that we have been able to capture there.
objetos con forma tubular de 300 metros de largo,
They are tubular in nature with maybe 300 feet in length.
otros con forma de boomerang, como acaban de ver.
Some of them have a boomerang shape.
Esto de aquí es en el desierto de Atacama.
This is in the Atacama Desert in Chile.
Arriba pasaba un avión
On top of it, there was a plane that was flying by.
y ahí abajo un objeto muy grande y luminoso.
And then beneath it, a very luminous, big object of some sort.
Este objeto tubular lo captamos en el Cerro Uritorco.
This tubular object we were able to capture in the Uritorco mountain range in Argentina.
En el pueblo de Capilla del Monte.
In the town called Capilla del Monte.
Este es un objeto más pequeño,
This is a smaller object.
del tamaño de un balón de básquetbol.
It looks like a basketball.
Lo captamos durante un workshop que hacía en Chile,
We captured this during a workshop that we were doing in
a
Chile.
plena luz del día.
And this was in the daylight, obviously.
Funciona como una sonda que capta información
It almost seems like it is some type of object that is capturing information
y se puede mover muy rápido, como lo ven aquí.
and can move very quickly, as you can see.
Todos estos avistamientos fueron concertados previa cita con los extraterrestres.
All of these sightings that I am sharing were programmed. So they were announced to us before they happened.
Incluso manifestaciones de energías en los campamentos de contacto como estas,
Including energy manifestations that happen around the camps.
como si fuesen intentos de proyecciones holográficas.
They almost look like some type of holographic intent.
Miren sobre mi cabeza,
This is over my head.
cuando estaba recibiendo una comunicación telepática con la psicografía.
And at this moment, I was receiving a mental message and I was trying to write it down.
Obviamente todas estas experiencias que hemos
Encima del mar, ¿no es cierto? Pero está posado en el cerro.
No, no está posado, fíjate. Cuando alumbra, te das cuenta.
No está posado en el cerro. Miren, ahí
¿viste?
está, oye.
¿Viste? ¿Viste? Está grabado, está grabado.
Estamos
Se nota,
de nuevo.
se notó el borde del cerro. Ahí está. Ahí está. ¿ves?
Está en el aire. Miren, mira eso. No está en el cerro.
Anthony,
Está en el
girando
aire.
esa luz.
Es un objeto que está en el aire, señoras y señores. Qué importante que las cámaras de Capital TV están en este momento siendo vamos a ver, es impresionante, señores. Este es un hecho sin precedentes en la historia de los medios de comunicación, que delante de cientos de personas en este momento hay un objeto que está flotando en el aire, no está posado en el cerro. ¿Dos luces? A ver.
¿Se convierte?
Sí, Yuri.
Mira, se convierte en dos luces. Está en una luz, después titila como dos luces paralelas, después hace una forma de reloj, o sea, un punto con varios puntitos alrededor. Y después hay un destello, es una secuencia.
Estamos transmitiendo, queridos amigos, un avistamiento ovni impresionante.
Those behind me may move and stand up. Okay, you see that color? No, oh no.
No, that's a
So
ship.
let's thank them for coming.
Wow, and it's above the sea
Please
level.
turn off your night scope, Charles. Off.
Someone's infrared or
Yeah,
whatever.
that's Charles.
Oh, whoa.
Oh, here they come. There are two.
Whoever's right in the front, if you can kind of just stay low, because your
Stay low.
head is right.
You can get on your knees in front
Yeah.
of it. See? Look at this, how gorgeous.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so I'm looking with the night scopes. There's no smoke. There's no trails. These are not flares. And
Oh my
okay,
goodness.
let's welcome them here.
Oh, they're so
They're-
beautiful.
They were waiting for us to arrive. Jacques,
Whoa.
please photograph. All cameras should be filming. So connect to them in your consciousness and invite them here. These are the golden ones I talked about. See how gold? Because the horizon is only 7 to 10 miles depending on the conditions. So it's probably a couple miles. Everybody see
Wow.
them?
Yeah, they're so beautiful.
Let's welcome their beings on board to join us in meditation. That is such a beautiful color, so you'll never forget that color. Yeah, this is a major event. So we are grateful. So open your heart chakra and send them the beauty of humanity. And if you can see what I'm doing, you connect with your palms out like this and your third eye and your heart, making like a tetrahedron radiating our pureness and love towards them. They emerge from the sky, but they're very, very close to the ocean. They're just hovering. They're not.
Whoever's just right in front of the yellow kind of blue jacket, your head's. No, yeah, you just kind of went to go down. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna move.
We should be filming.
I am filming, but just trying to avoid.
Those in front, if you can get on your knees or sit on the ground and look in front of your chairs, but stay low. Thank you.
I'm gonna reposition.
You need a higher tripod.
No, I can bring it high. I just don't want to.
Well, don't wait, or you're going to lose it. Just
Yeah,
stay.
yeah,
Stick
yeah.
with it. No more time for that. Okay, that's clear air. It just sort of vanished, the one on the right. It stayed pretty much the same altitude, though.
Wow.
Let's invite them to come as close as they can.
Safely.
I need a time mark. Tim, time?
9:15.
9:15. So we'll mark time. 9:15.
9:15.
Oh, that's gone into the ocean. See what it did? Okay, there is still an object there. Very faint, I can see.
This thing is right by the fence. We're at this farm. Mount Shasta's here. And this thing comes in and blips. It looks like someone's with a flashbulb camera, but there's nobody there. So now that seems very transient. And it is if you're only sticking with your 3D vision. But if you go into consciousness and see what was the source of that, you're going to then see what's actually hovering, shifted out of 3D. So you say, why don't they fully materialize and just come in and shake hands? Well, maybe it wouldn't be safe for them or us to do that. Look at the shape of this. It's beautiful. Well, we're just putting in sort of an assortment of things in these so that you get a sense. So this happened on the coast of Florida a couple years ago. We were out there, and an object. These are visible with the naked eye. There are a bunch of them. It looked like the RC-SETI triangle again. It's this motif that keeps continuing. And over the course of about an hour, there were 300 of these seen. And so we were sitting in circle, and it just kept going and going and going. It was like something in a children's movie for, something celestial. But beautiful place on Marco Island. Okay, let's go to the next series. You can go to the next one. Here you go. So this is really cool. I have some land in Colorado, and this shot up right in front of our group from the land. You can see the trail of it. Zzz, boom, light ship. You see it? Yeah. Nobody was shooting off fireworks. And look at the stars, very clear. It's a fantastic image. Now, it's not fully 3D, but it's enough in this dimension you can get the sense of it. It had been in the field with us and was launching off, leaving. Then I went out there, and there's a tree where we put Sherry's ashes, and it was right after sunset, or right around there. And I said, there's a golden object shimmering in the field. And he took a picture, and here was the kind of a golden ship that was partially in this dimension and partially not. This is unbelievable. We're standing there doing our contact protocols with our hands outstretched, welcoming them, and this appears in thin air. A point, then this, and a light going up. Not an artifact. So it comes into this dimension. Everyone sees this, by the way. Beautiful. From another dimension and another star system. And when they vanish, they're inviting you to go into their dimension in consciousness and thought. If that makes sense. Okay, well, thank you.
Del Perú.
Suggested to us that we should visit some of these places in Peru, these secret places,
Y luego otros lugares semejantes en todo el mundo.
as well as other type of places like this all over the world.
Este enclave se encuentra en Cusco, lo están viendo muy bien.
This door is in Cusco. You could see it well.
Tiene la figura famosa de la chacana o cruz cuadrada.
It has the famous shape of the square cross, the chacana.
El sacerdote se arrodillaba aquí en este templo
Here, back in the days, the priest would actually lean up against this door.
apoyaba aquí sus brazos
They would place their arms here,
y aquí apoyaba la cabeza.
and here he would place his head.
Según la creencia andina,
According to the Andean belief system,
cuando se daban tormentas
when there were storms
con precipitación muy fuerte de agua,
with a high level of precipitation or water,
este lugar se abría como un portal natural
this place would actually open up sort of like a natural portal,
y el agua que caía
and the water that would fall
era un agua especial, mágica,
was considered to be a magic, a special water
que activaba estados no ordinarios de la conciencia en el sacerdote andino.
that would activate states, not ordinary states, in the priest.
Entonces podía penetrar la piedra,
And so then he was able to penetrate the stone,
cruzar hacia otro lugar
to be able to go to another place
y conectarse con los guamanis,
and connect with the guamanes,
con los seres de luz a los que hice referencia hace unos minutos.
with the beings of light that I just referenced a little bit ago.
Este otro lugar es muy famoso en Perú,
This place is also very famous in Peru.
conocido como Wilcauta o el Portal del Sol en el lago Titicaca.
It is in the Titicaca Lake, and it is called the Portal of the Sun. And how do you say it again, Ricardo?
En quechua es Wilcauta, el Portal del Sol, ¿no?
Wilcauta. Yeah, the Portal of the Sun.
Y aquí están bien, el portal realmente es este gran pórtico, ¿no? Gigante de 7 metros de altura.
And the portal itself is actually the bigger one that you see there, which is almost like 7 feet tall.
Y esto de aquí es el pequeño templo,
And here is actually the small temple,
que como la imagen anterior,
just also like the image that I showed you before.
el sacerdote se arrodilla aquí,
The priest will actually lean there,
apoya los brazos aquí,
places his hands there,
y en este hoyo
and in that hole,
coloca su frente o la coronilla,
he places his forehead or the top of his head.
o para ver
It's either to see
o para recibir.
or to receive.
Esta es una imagen más amplia del lugar.
This is a more amplified picture of the place. It's gorgeous.
Son lugares que tienen siglos o miles de años en los Andes peruanos.
And these places have been there for centuries in the Andean mountains.
Y en este tipo de lugares nos entrenamos
And this is the type of place where we go for training
durante décadas,
for decades now,
viviendo lo imposible,
trying to live the impossible,
comprendiendo que el contacto en estos vórtices
understanding that the contact in these vortexes
era un espejo de nosotros mismos,
was a mirror of ourselves.
incluso en lugares de difícil acceso u ocultos,
Even places that are more occult or a lot more difficult to reach,
templos tallados y construidos en altas montañas,
temples that were built in high mountains,
rocas labradas que funcionan como puertas hacia otra realidad,
stones that function as doors to other realities,
y también las llamadas chincanas,
and also the so-called chincanas,
como esta de aquí, que es una cueva en los Andes del Cusco,
such as this, which are caves in the Andean mountains.
es decir, el ingreso a un mundo subterráneo.
So these are actually considered to be doors into subterranean worlds.
Los templos de la Pachamama o de la Madre Tierra, como dicen mis ancestros en Perú.
So they are the temples of the Pachamama, which means Mother Earth for the ancestry people in Peru.
En 1998, cuando estaba más joven, obviamente tenía 24 años de edad,
So in 1998, when I was a lot younger, maybe about 24 years old,
pasa el tiempo, ¿no?
yeah, time goes by.
A veces mi esposa esto es un paréntesis, ¿no?
This is a,
Que Ricardo,
you know what, Ricardo?
al final no quise quedarme solo
At the end of the day, I didn't want to stay alone,
y caminé detrás de ti.
and I actually walked behind you.
Y cuando entré en la cueva,
And when I went inside the cave,
te vi con ese gigante de luz de los brazos
I did see you with that giant of light,
y casi me infarto.
and I almost died. I almost had a heart attack.
Es decir, que el chamán me había seguido y había visto al mismo ser.
So therefore, the shaman had actually followed me and had seen the same being.
Esta experiencia fue muy fuerte para mí
This experience was really, really powerful for me
porque rompió un paradigma mental,
because it broke a mental paradigm that I had
más allá del clásico encuentro cercano extraterrestre y el fenómeno ovni.
that went farther than, the classic ET contact and UFO phenomena.
Estaba descubriendo algo maravilloso.
I was starting to discover something that was marvelous.
Seres de luz que viven en los vórtices de la Tierra.
Beings of light that live here on Earth.
Así son las cuevas de la zona X.
This is what they look like, the caves at the X zone.
Y la música que escuchan es composición de Tito La Rosa,
And the music that you are listening to is a composition of Tito La Rosa.
música que fue creada con instrumentos prehispánicos peruanos.
And this is music that was created with prehistoric instruments, Peruvian instruments.
Y esos cánticos son los ícaros, cánticos sagrados.
And these songs are called Ikara, the sacred songs.
Antarel y Vika nos habían dicho
Antarela and Vika had said to us
que investigando estos lugares
that when we investigated these places,
solo estábamos recobrando nuestras memorias.
that we would be recovering our memories.
Porque estos seres de luz que tanto nos impresionan
Because these beings of light that impress us so much
nos revelan nuestra propia naturaleza.
reveal to us our own nature.
Nosotros somos seres de luz,
We are light beings.
solo que estamos viviendo en esta vestidura humana.
But we are, wearing these human clothes.
Y ahora estamos viviendo esta experiencia en la Tierra.
And right now we are living this experience on earth.
Pero no somos diferentes a estos seres.
But we are not any different than these beings.
Entonces, cuando Ivica y Antarel nos guiaron hacia estas experiencias,
So when Evika and Antarel guided us to these type of experiences,
solo querían que comprendiéramos lo primordial,
they just wanted us to understand the primary thing,
que somos seres de luz
that we are beings of light,
y que seres semejantes a nosotros
and that beings that are like us
protegen los nodos o vórtices naturales de la Tierra.
are protecting those sacred places of earth.
Los antiguos nativos norteamericanos así también lo creían
The native North Americans also believe this to be true.
y marcaban un lugar especial en Estados Unidos.
For a sky watch, where do you go? Do you go to the best place that has no light, and then hopefully something will happen? This time, today, we're going to show you where the best places are. Now, tracing the phenomena. The Earth is littered with magnetic anomalies. And higher proportions of smaller, more compact anomalies happen in the northern hemisphere. So the likes of North America, Europe and things like that, they've got smaller pockets of positive anomalies. And these are the things that we want to concentrate on, the positive ones, not necessarily the negative ones. And I don't mean that from a spiritual feeling type of thing. I mean that from purely an understanding of science where you have a positive field and you have a negative field. So when I'm referring to the positive and the negative during this lecture, I will be doing it purely on the understanding of energy and not feeling. Okay? Now, when we look at the southern hemisphere, we actually have larger pockets of highly concentrated magnetic anomalies. Whereas the northern hemisphere, as I said, we get smaller pockets, but they're nice, tight little pockets. Now, this, for instance, is where I'm from. This is Ireland on the left. You can see the outline there, and of course, the UK, where Steve is from. Now, there are some anomalies that ripple through England, for instance, the positive ones being in red, through the South. Midlands, not so much. There are a lot of negative there. And there are two strong anomalies that pass through Scotland, one smaller than the other. Ireland, of course, on the left-hand side, we've got 3 or 4 pockets there. And it might be worth mentioning here that on the left, just off the shore of County Kerry, is a huge anomaly. For years, for the past 30, 40 years, this is the place, the Kerry coast, that people go down to looking for the Star Watch because they see a lot of strange things. That's why. Now we're seeing these magnetic anomalies. Yes. Yes, yes. What we're seeing here is a positively charged magnetic anomaly off the coast. We're using satellites to see these. Now, I will be talking about where you can get this from. It'll be on the discs. This is free. You can do this at home so that you can check where you live or your county, and you can see where are the best places. These magnetic fields, yes, they will morph and move, but primarily you're going to find them around the same places. There is some shift within a 24 hours, expansion and contraction. But for the most part, what you're looking for is going to be the positive. The densely packed, as you can see moving into the nanometer range there, the purple, you want the more densely packed magnetic positively charged anomaly. Purple is good. Purple is exactly what you want. Yes. Oh, sorry. Now, these areas of densely packed magnetic anomalies, this is where we find
that peak. I'm going to zoom in. The top of that peak, this is as far as I can take this. You can see it. It's right there. Now I'm going to insert a bunch of photographs that we are taking here right now in high res. You can see the little garage door, you can see the driveway, you can see debris coming out, and it's perfectly level, it's perfectly square. Now this is what's funny. Look at how many people here that are videotaping and filming it right now.
Now, in this next series of photographs that were taken by myself, Jason Quitt, and Gary Clark, hope Gary doesn't mind me saying his last name, this first shot is taken from my cell phone. And here is an enlargement. Here is another enlargement. This is what we were seeing immediately after the discovery. We photographed the mountain and videotaped it all weekend after this. This next shot, Jason Quitt took with his high-res camera. And you're looking at it here. Here is the enlargement. Look at the opening. It's absolutely incredible. We went through some historic shots. Here's one with snow covering the face. There is clearly no opening here. In this next shot, this is from Horse Camp, which is a few miles closer, about 9 miles out, and you can see that it's a clearer shot and it's closer to the mountain. Everything that you have seen that we took here is about 13 to 14 miles away from the mountain. The mountain itself is about 12,300 feet tall from sea level, and here it's about 8,000 to 9,000 feet above ground level. The opening just appeared. We can't tell how large it is. We are guessing from the size of the mountain and from the distance, it's anywhere from a couple of hundred feet, maybe a few 500 feet wide, a couple of 100 feet tall, possibly. We don't know. One thing is for sure, it clearly is an opening. Is it a cave? Is it a hangar door? Is it something that a UFO or some kind of ET craft can enter and leave? Now, what is also interesting is going back and looking at my previous shots of the mountain, I found this series of 3 images. What I was doing, every time I shot the mountain, I shot in 3 or 5 consecutive shots about 1 second apart, so I could grab one shot that was in focus. It's a long ways away, and your hand shake, and your cell phone moves and stuff. So in this series of shots, 1, 2, 3, taken 1 second apart, in the first shot here, there's nothing above the mountain. Look in the second shot. 1 second later, there is clearly an extremely large craft shot above the door. This is from 13 miles away. How big is that craft? Look at the third shot. 1 second after that shot, there's nothing there. Very interesting. Time stamped at 6 p.m., 22 minutes, 15 seconds, 16 seconds, and 17 seconds. Very, very interesting. And then there's these shots taken by Jason Quitt. Again, going back and reviewing our images, we found these. There you go. There are craft. These are daylight shots at Mount Adams. Incredible. Is it something that a UFO or some kind of ET craft can enter and leave? Has it been hidden? Has it been camouflaged over the years? Has it always been there and just opened when it needed to? We don't know. What we do know is there clearly now is an opening on the top of Mount Adams. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. Follow our YouTube channel. It's right there. Click on it. Subscribe. And, of course, visit our website, www.jimmychurchradio.com. We broadcast Fade to Black Monday through Thursday live from 7 to 10 p.m. Pacific. Go back, Lee Tappy.